Ontario. Hey, buddy, that's way better. That's way better.
All right, sounds good. Awesome.
Yeah. But I've been finding Haps lately not as stable as it was. Have you guys been
When was it?
noticing that as well? The broadcasts are not as stable for some reason.
38.
Now, Brian, if they link to Instagram, that'll really help you. Are you also linked to Reddit?
Yes, yes, I'm
Have
linked
you
to
had
both
one of those breakthrough broadcasts where you get like
and everything
10,000
else.
views or anything like that?
But it's funny. Definitely have at first, and since then it's been like a hit or a miss. But
Mm-hmm.
even on Periscope, I feel like that's been something that's there. Even 60,000 people at times, but nothing like Chris Gale's.
That's a lot.
Okay. What I did, because sometimes I have so many people I invited. Oh, I think I just trashed James. Sorry, James. I'll get you back in a second here. If you have too many people on your list, that can also affect the broadcast. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah. So
And I hope that it's not my sincerely. I really wouldn't know what to make of that. So I hope that if you
I'm
suggest
hoping
that I
in the
log in,
future that we can do some music stuff together. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, discussing different forms of music. And so I remember, because I've been married twice. This is my second time. The second time I've been with this lady for 30 years, almost 30 years. But my first marriage was 5. And I was devastated for the first year. Absolutely devastated. It was like a roller coaster of emotions. And we didn't have kids. So I can't even imagine what the glue would be like with that. It's got to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for being able to relate to that, though. That's very vulnerable of you, and that speaks volumes. Thank you for sharing that insight too, because it's everybody's got their own journey, and everyone approaches it their own way. And I'm just happy that I could get along with everybody in my life, and that everyone's on good terms, and that my sons are happier for it all, and have a lot more love in their life because they're surrounded by that same kind of support network, and that's all that really matters.
What's sad is usually in those situations, it's the lawyers kill the bank accounts. Like they feast on the fears, and I've seen that. And then they
Yeah,
have people feel unsafe and they line their pockets from the fear, and
yeah,
money that could have went
so true.
towards the kids schooling or just stability is now gone. Because I don't know if you know this, but during the pandemic, lawyers are now going broke.
Uh-huh.
They're going broke.
That's great.
No, serious. Like some of the top lawyers, because they
I don't
can't.
feel bad.
No, no. Look at that, the Russia flush. No, it wasn't stable. So listen, I'm sorry, guys, but enough is enough. That's okay. James, please forgive me. He called, what do you call it, the Russia flush? Oh, yeah, yeah. And Steven's phone, I find sometimes will overheat.
Thanks, man.
It's good for a
Oh
while.
my
It
god.
was the same in the broadcast the other day, but if we can address that, if you're okay with that, I know you're kind of a deep feeling guy, but
Of course.
that first year, the gamut of emotions is insane. Have you ever heard of the theory that if you live in a climate where there's 4 seasons, you go through 4 forms of grief because every single season has memories.
Wow, that's very deep. That's profound and interesting. I love hearing this, and you have my full attention because I can relate to that.
Because you go into winter and you start thinking about Christmas, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. And you go into fall and there's different memories, especially if you're in sports and things like that. But um,
yeah.
Have now that you're getting older, you know, have you had like I'm at an age now where almost every month I lose somebody within my inner
Mhm.
circle. I'm old enough that, and when you get into your 60s, I had friends who said, I go to more funerals than I go to bars. And he was a bar
Wow.
fly. He goes, I'm spending more time. He had 1 week. He had 1 week where he lost three of his closest friends from work.
Ah,
So he used to work for Ford, and there was about 100 guys that they used to go and drink over the 10 years. They all worked the same place. And
yeah.
in 1 year, he lost half of them. Yeah. But it was all in and he said, I think it's because of all the stuff they breathed. And because, he was from the time of the 50s, right? He said,
Yeah.
you didn't know what you were breathing. You didn't know. He said, it's a miracle that I'm still alive. But he was lucky. What he did was maintenance in the factories. He was a plumber. So he would go around, if pipes were busted, he would fix them. And that was his job. And he got paid fairly well. And
Yeah. Some of my best friends were that, and then for Newark Transit Authority, and being a person who played in bands, it didn't matter the age. It just mattered what you played, what you liked, what you
yeah,
listened to. So a lot of my friends are retired now, and we're from the same kind of calling, cut from the same kind of cloth. And they would tell me after they retired, you know, they would get these phone calls like, shit, only you know how to repair this thing. Like, the thing is
right.
melting down, it's burning.
Yeah.
Please come to the building. Or pick up your phone or call this person.
Well, it's
You're the
funny
only.
you say that because I drive an elevator that's 102 years old, and there's very few people who know how to maintain them.
Oh, wow.
With the gate that slides across and it has a crank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in an old Masonic building, and it's 6 floors, and it was where the Masons used to worship, and the Rolling Stones used to party there. That was one of
That's
their play.
holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I'll drink to that. Nice.
yeah. But in 1968 alone, they had Rod Stewart there, Jeff Beck. Now Rod Stewart was 16. They had Frank Zappa there that same year. The Who, Led Zeppelin,
Awesome.
Chuck Berry, Howlin' Wolf. Yeah, that
Wow.
was 1 year, and a whole bunch of other artists you might know. You might know some of them, but Albert King. So I'm a big blues guy. I love Albert, BB, Freddie, all
Yeah.
those guys. If you're a guitar player, that's always fun to know the different
I can't
styles.
be able to play it, but oh boy, do I feel it. Hell yeah. Blues.
So right now, we're heading into 2022, and I'm finding myself very reflective, especially today. And I feel like there's a massive shift going on,
Yeah.
and I'm now already kind of pointing my boat in the direction of where I want to go. And the reason I'm saying that is, where do you want to point your ship? Like, where's because you look like a very focused young man who has dreams. I get you're also somewhat humble, but there's that internal engine called your brain that doesn't stop. That
Mhm.
mental chatter,
Right.
right? And even your dream states, I think, are filled with those desires and fears, and because you're really linked to the source. I felt that the other day when we talked.
Thank
Like,
you.
we were doing energy work. We used words, but there was more energy going back and forth. Than would you agree?
Energy work is right on. I feel you on that. And it's interesting that I don't know where it's headed. I'm meandering. As a matter of fact, as of recently, I felt that I've received this enormous push from the universe that
Yeah, I sense that
physically
too. Yeah,
it's
I
just
sense that.
it's
It's
here,
time.
present.
It's time. Yeah, yeah.
So
Shit or get off the pot.
What do I do with that? You know,
Yeah.
what direction? Where does the
Yeah.
compass point?
Yeah.
So that's the whole.
Are you writing at all? Because I sense you should be writing.
That's where it's at. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
Mike. That's where the focus is at. You know, that's exactly where I think opportunity lies, and that's where the
James is
vision.
right. Meditate on it.
Yeah,
Meditate on it. That's so true. That's such a good piece of advice.
to meditate on that. Yeah.
Jeez. I'm sorry. I'm looking at these comments here. Okay, we're having this deep conversation, and we got Captain Rehab. Jeez. Oh my God, man.
I haven't I've kept it in
He-
the show view on my
It
pad.
it is a miracle Michael is still alive after he entered into the bathroom that William Shatner used after eating eggs from Tim Hortons.
Hi Hannah.
Like, yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. I have a question for you. How much money would it cost for you to take a shower on Haps? Because Captain Rehab did it the other day for free.
Mike, you just might have killed me on Haps. That's worth a lot more. I fucking can't breathe. Dude, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Like, is this somewhere?
He did.
Did
He
it-
took a shower. He took a shower and did a broadcast. You saw his head, and the water's running, and yeah, yeah. Why not?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Laughter's the best medicine.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Wow. How much did he get paid? How much was he compensated?
Nothing. He did it for free. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I I honestly think he's trying to do a loop tape for Free Willy 7. So it's a whole new experience.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
I
Yeah.
died. I died. I laughed so hard when I saw it. At first I thought, is this a simulation? Like, what is? No, he's in the shower.
I tell you one thing. I've been caught candid sometimes.
Hmm.
And I remember when I was at the time where my boss was retiring from work
Hmm.
and everyone was on the fucking Zoom call. And I thought my Zoom call was joining without video. Oh, but I was wrong. I woke up late. I was 3 minutes till the meeting.
Mhm.
All I had was like AT on and like, whatever.
So-
I logged on and I saw and I was like, oh shit.
Busted. Busted.
Bam.
Yeah.
I just like swiveled it around and like really quickly went ahead and put on a button-up shirt. And I was like, damn, I'm not gonna do that again.
So, do you remember Google Hangouts back in the day? 10 years ago, Google Hangouts. It was kind of like this, but the quality was horrible. So, there was this girl, and there was a bunch of guys, and she did not know she had her camera on. And all she had on was her unders, nothing else. And she thought the camera was off. And I went, hun, your camera's on. And she goes, no, it's not. That's really rude. Why would you do that? And then she went, oh my God, shit. And she started running and the camera flew. And it was like, I think it was her tablet. I think it was like, and these guys had not said anything. She had no top on. She just had her unders on. That was it.
No. That's
Yeah.
heinous.
And she thought she was just a picture, right? Or black or whatever. And I was like, nope, we're still friends to this point, to this day. And she goes, you
I'm
saved
so
me then.
glad that you could get down to earth like that. I feel bad. Like I remember I was in because I work for the state and I consult for several schools and things like that, and
Hmm.
sometimes it overlaps with parents
Yes.
in the school and in like home situations. So when they're having these home meetings, sometimes it could get personal, and it doesn't like exactly always pan out in a professional manner. So uh, I just remember like inviting maybe like what was it, like 25 people to this meeting,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this guy woke up. He woke up. He was supposed to already be awake, but he woke up, and when he panned his camera around, the girl that was not his wife that he was sleeping with was like
Oh
topless
no.
on the bed, and everyone was looking at it, and it was just so bad.
Wow.
So
Oh my God. What an idiot. Well, you know what's funny? Because we've had people that don't show their face. And
hmm
then every once in a while, they'll forget and they click their
hmm
camera by accident and they're on and they're, you know, you just don't know. But I would love to address that when you're on here, you have to be a certain level of professional because you could lose a gig,
Yeah,
like especially you, right? You could lose a
yeah,
gig, you could lose a job. You know, you're still doing warm, dry, fed. You're not sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? Like that's not your shtick. So, but when did you know you wanted to do music? Like what age?
I think that happened when I was 8 or 9. I said, this is like the main way that I can really express myself, and I realized that
Yes.
nobody else had a knack for that. Um, when one of my buddies got really pissed off, I grew up in Newark. You know, I grew up in an impoverished neighborhood in the Ironbound in Newark, and when it wasn't there, it was in Lower East Side Manhattan. So like it was just like a bunch of like crime-ridden circumstances. And I remember one of my classmates got busted for like robbing a store, you know, and
Right.
he was not
He was
sucked.
9?
Yeah,
He was 9.
and
Wow.
I remember like
So you've
writing
seen a
something.
lot. You're saying you've seen a lot in your yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time you were 15, you probably seen more than you needed to see.
Oh
Can you do
yeah.
me
You
I'm
know.
gonna ask you to do me a small favor. I'm gonna get you to address the comments. I'm going to take a pit stop if you get my drift, and we won't be filming that. So I'm gonna let you take the wheel for a second, and I'll be back in
For sure.
2 minutes. I'm gonna okay.
That sounds
Can
good.
okay.
Groovy.
Can you see the comments or no? Or just talk to them,
Yeah,
whatever you want.
I
Okay.
can. I'm just I'm navigating on two screens now, so we're good. It says, Brian, you look like you're being interrogated. I'm loving it. I feel great though. I feel awesome and like I'm chilling here, just happy to be here and not overexerting my voice too at the same time. Uh, Having a blessed evening. Thanks, James. That was my shtick for a while. I hear you, Des. But a great way to start a meeting is being starting one way real strong, but at the same time I felt like starting real strong even with like putting my voice out there was one way that I could start out strong with people, but it didn't always enunciate every aspect of myself. You know what I mean? Like it didn't offer every facet, and if they couldn't appreciate at me for every facet of myself, then it made it more difficult for me to move forward. And growing up in the hood will definitely teach you a lot. You know, growing up in the Ironbound or growing up in Lower East Side Manhattan, in between the Brooklyn and the Manhattan Bridge, I came to realize that a lot of the things in my life were superficial. A lot of people cared about sneakers, a lot of people cared about name brands, a lot of people cared about things that just didn't matter. The things that actually mattered were the investor relationships that we had, the things that we would really talk about that were intangible, that were things that you couldn't exactly measure. So it was so nice seeing some of those things stay alive in Hood even like years after. Because I went to college in Fordham University in Manhattan, and I went back when I was in my early 20s and got to spend time with my grandparents again. And that was wonderful. And I still go and work around Newark and whatnot too. And I had a very big impact in Newark in the Ironbound, where I used to grow up in. And that was a wonderful like full circle towards where I could pay it forward with the community, you know. Des is saying you went to 6 high schools and lived in a lot of places. The people in the hood were more family to you than your own family. Yeah, I could certainly realize that and relate to it for sure. And that Mel is talking about black electrical tape works at a treat till it fails of unbeknownst to the user. Hello, good day. Everyone's talking in chat, and I think, yeah, we are unpacking a lot. You know, it is true. A lot of what we feel like, and a lot of what we see in our own interactions in our own neighborhood, are far more real than we would imagine on Facebook or TV, for that matter. So it isn't too far off.
Hey, buddy, I'm back. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
It was
my pleasure. Thank you.
You seem to be in a deep thinking mode.
I'm absolutely reflective right now. Hell yeah.
When do you? Is there a few things you could share? You know, that you're comfortable sharing reflective wise? Like, I'm so beyond sick of COVID now, and I'm genuinely worried for rioting all over the world if things don't, because you can only restrict people for so long, and we're seeing it all over the world now. Crazy behaviors, not healthy behaviors. Not that I should deem anybody crazy.
Well, no, I wouldn't call anyone crazy either, but I think cabin fever is one thing that's very realistic, you know, and like when I was a principal of a preschool, you know, I used to tell the teachers, you know, you could only keep the students confined in one space for so long before they stop appreciating whatever it is that they have and want to just go elsewhere. And they could, you're limiting them. It's not sane. It's not ethical. So yeah, I could certainly relate to a lot of the individuals at this point in time who are feeling like they're unrealistically restrained to these confines and bounds, to these measurements that are unconstitutional. Absolutely. And at the same token, I also understand why there are certain measures of safety, but when you discuss these things scientifically, they're all over the place. Like you talk about like what's measurable. You talk about different vaccines. One is like here, one is there, one is there. One could do this, one could do that. One has a high immune response. One doesn't, and it could be administered for certain ages, but it gives this problem with the heart for the teens.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of apprehension because there's a lot of uncertainty, and because there's so little known here.
It's uncharted territory.
Go back to
right. We're walking blind faith. Blind faith, which is dangerous, right? So, but we don't really have a choice right now. The thing that scares me the most is you can't sue anybody. You sign away your rights. So we're all right now basically part of an experiment. Guinea pigs, whatever you want to call it. My guides are telling me to tell you something, and I want you to really feel this when I tell you this, okay? You are in a
Okay.
chapter, and I know this is going to sound a little wacky, but I want you to listen to this. So, do you know Fleetwood Mac?
Yes.
Okay, you know the album Rumors, one of the biggest
Yes.
albums ever sold. Okay, so I think
Of
it has
course.
something like 6 number ones on it. That was during a
Mhm.
period when that was written. They were all on in the pits of despair, really hurting. They were going through divorce, they were going through broken relationships, there was infidelity, there was drug abuse, there was everything. It's all in there. They had moments where they went 24 hours straight and recorded.
Mm.
And the only way you can do that is through chemicals, right? Like
Yeah.
heightened states. Okay. I get the pain that you're going through right now is going to propel you into work,
Mm.
timeless work. So you needed to go through this so you could share these. This is all part of a grand scheme.
Mhm.
So in some ways you're being manipulated by the universe. So the universe is all about the greater good. They don't care you're suffering. But they do want you to take the gifts that you've been given and they want you to use them. What they deem to be best for the collective. Does that make sense? Do you feel that?
It it does. I feel it. You speak to my soul. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable with me. I appreciate it, and it exposes a part of me that's really it means a lot. But at the same time, I feel like uh, geez, it's so selfish.
Raw?
I
Is it
feel
like a
like it's
raw?
how do you put it?
Yeah, words
You
aren't always words don't always fill the cup or explain what you're going through, right? I think that's why music's so beautiful and it can be interpreted so many different ways. And wherever you are mentally, like I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you read an old book and you read it again and it's a really good book, it's a different book. And if you listen to an album maybe you didn't like as a kid because you just
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
mentally there and you listen to it now and go, shit, this is brilliant.
Ab- yes, Michael. Yes, absolutely. Great point. Great
So
point.
you're going through life lessons right now. You're being stretched, uncomfortably so.
I, I am, and I have been a lot in my life. You know, I've been stretched at an early age in a number of ways. You know, my mother, my father have had cancer when I was 7 and 8. Gone through chemotherapy. Almost lost them both.
Hmm.
Was supposed to have a brother. Did not have a brother. Um, you know, just miss everything. Just
Yeah. But use
came
that
down.
as fuel. But use that as fuel to get you where you need to go.
And I can try, and I will, but I feel like life is still throwing things at me, and only finally now there's like this little moment to breathe. Boy, does it
Hmm.
feel so good.
Yeah. One
I'm
word,
gasping
clarity.
for
One word, clarity.
clarity. It sounds like
That's what you're seeking, clarity.
a moment
You
of
could call it
clarity.
peace, you can call it balance, but when you're evolving at the rate that you're evolving, you want clarity. Not certainty, but clarity.
I I hear
You're
you on
wise
that.
enough
I don't
you're
think so.
wise enough to know there is no certainty.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are no absolutes, buddy. But at least
That's
if you
right.
know you're
That's
going in
right.
the right direction and there are no like even this is orchestrated. I'm just reading the current and going
Yeah.
along. I'm being used as you're being used. That's it. That's how it works. So just I'm a messenger, a speaker. But we'll put it that way. That there's current. Let's say the gods are the amp, right? And I'm and then energy is the wire that goes to the speaker, and then I have to interpret the energy. It's like pockets of energy, and you do that when you write. But your dreams are unlocking your future.
I hope that one day when I write, I could just get better at telling a story. I think that when I write, it's just pouring out a stream of consciousness at this point.
Hmm.
I've worked for years at working these things, looking at poetry, studying it through college, iambic pentameter, looking at different things and points where to balance it and where to rhyme certain parts, A B's, A's, and VB's, and all these other things. It doesn't matter though. What matters is the feeling that you
The
get
flow,
across.
the flow too. Surrendering,
Right, right.
surrendering to the
You
flow.
you
Yeah.
understand
Oh,
when I
that.
see your
Go ahead.
the delivery, each and every one of the artists that you feature, and every one of the songs that you put forward has that, and they capture it in their own unique way. They have
Hmm.
an essence, a fingerprint, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I'm using my hand
yeah.
much, but yeah, you get what I'm feeling.
No, but the bottom line is we are all divine creations, right? We all have seeds of greatness within us, but we're all really just one little droplet, like one tear, if you want, in the ocean of potential. That's what we are. We're just one tear in this massive ocean. And look at the damage that water can do if it has velocity or has clarity, right? It can also heal you. Water can heal you, can soothe you. It can replenish your soul. It can, if you use water properly with
Very
teas and that. What's that?
very healing water.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the greatest things. Can't live without it. We're made up of what? Is it over 80% of our body is water? Yeah.
And
You don't
thanks
want to
at
be.
J Opera for saying those words. By the way, jeez, that's
He's a
like
beautiful soul
incredibly
too.
kind.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, he's a beautiful soul too. But
what a
we
wise.
all, we all but we all reveal just small nuggets of what we really are, right? We're all kind of on
That's
the
true.
tightrope, in this
Mm.
life. We're all on the tightrope, hoping no one knows that we're on the tightrope, trying to get to the next, plateau.
That's very true. Absolutely. I am always on a tightrope.
I love this.
I,
I
I feel
walk
very lucky lately.
barefoot on the beach. Yes, because then you get connected to the grounding energies.
Yes.
Yeah, this is so deep. What is so deep? The conversation.
I love
See, she's
it.
feeling the energy. That's what she's feeling. I think. I think that's what she means. Yeah. When I get like this,
Yeah.
though, and I can get like this with certain individuals, there we lose track of time.
You'll have to
Yeah.
forgive me.
For what?
At this point, it's of no consequence to me.
Say that again.
Time at this point is
Uh
of
huh.
no consequence to me. So please, you'll have to forgive me in advance if I'm
Okay.
not as mindful of it.
Well, it's the only thing we can't buy, buddy. So the best piece of advice I think I've ever heard and was given from one of my teachers is no matter what you're going through,
Mm,
choose to be alive. Choose to be
mm.
fully alive and present in that moment, no matter what it is. Find ways
I think right.
to occupy the space of your mind. Like they've had prisoners in war camps that would listen to music in their head to get through. They would recite
Yeah.
poetry in their
No.
mind to get through. They would fantasize they were other places because we have that ability, right? To leave ourselves for a bit.
Michael, do you have a favorite poet?
No, no, no. I'm a weirdo.
I think
I think that's the best. I have felt that way since I was a little kid. I'm a weirdo, you know. And I don't mean like Radiohead. I love that song. That song's but
yeah.
yeah, no, I've always been about current, energy, frequency, waves, kindness, living in the moment, connection. And that I think that's why I love Haps. It's a great place where like-minded souls can connect all over the world. You know, Desiree's part of that frequency deeply.
Hell
She
yeah.
doesn't she doesn't always show it, but she has that ability. She's deeply rooted.
I see it in all of her artwork,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
especially when it's like the space artwork or anything like that, for sure.
Yeah. But right now that's what we're doing. We're
Quote of the day.
holding space. We're holding space, you and I. That's what we're doing. You hold space with your energy. You do that in your music when you're in the groove.
So the music shifts. Music goes from
Yeah.
energetic to dragging you down to negative to positive.
Explain that.
How do you see? All right, so when you get Pearl Jam, you sheets of empty canvas, untouched sheets of clay. It's very like solemn. It's very like ooh. It gets you
Hmm.
in tune with like what is this funeral I'm attending kind of feeling. It's like
Hmm.
as opposed to like she bangs, baby, with the rhythm that she moves. You know, like
Yeah.
it's a
But
whole
they're all
different
flavors
feeling.
at a
So
buffet. That's what they are. They're just all flavors at a buffet. And you can serve
what
yourself
do you
whatever you
get?
want. What do you
What
mean
do
by
you
that?
get from the Haps musicians? What do you get from me? What do you get from
Oh,
the other
uh,
musicians that you spoke? What
um,
flavors? What
well, they're
spectrum?
all very different vibrationally, energetically, right? So you're a reflection of my deeper self. So I enjoy talking to you. Where the playful, very honest side of me, I would say, is Al Sanchez. When I'm with him, I'm like a 7 year old going fishing. Like we have the most
Nice.
ridiculous conversations, but they're light. And then every once in a while, he'll go into what I consider the pain body, where he gets upset about something, and I'll go with him. And but I'll
Oh,
try not to
never seen
go too deep.
anything. So
But his music has a lot of depth of his emotions. Like he attacks his
yeah,
guitar. I wouldn't want to be his guitar. Like he works those strings, right?
I could see
And
that.
yeah, and there's almost like elements of punk in his music, the way he attacks.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But not many people have the ability to see past the melody or the hook of a song, right? Like you
It's
dissect everything. Like even the way that you did the lyrics there. You fully felt the lyrics.
mhm.
Most people wouldn't know. They'd know the chorus. like I there was one day the other day I was listening to the song going, holy shit, I've been listening to the song my whole life, had no goddamn idea what it was about. And I finally got it. I had
Yeah,
an aha moment and went, oh,
and
okay,
there
it's
it
about
is. Yeah.
that. Yeah. Didn't know. Didn't have a clue. Didn't care. I just liked the way it made me feel. And then I
Right.
realized it
Right.
was deep and kind of really sad. And yet it had a happy melody. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of tricky. They're tricking you.
How misleading, right? Isn't that
But,
tricky?
well, yeah,
Um,
it's tricky, tricky, tricky. I'm thinking about Run DMC. It's tricky. Yeah.
tricky,
Tricky, tricky, tricky.
tricky.
Yeah. But it's a canvas for people like you. And most musicians are somewhat, at least really good ones, are somewhat tortured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always,
Yeah. The really
always,
good ones.
never going,
Yeah.
never gonna be fucking happy.
And but here's the thing, even if you have the trappings of success, it doesn't mean that you're going to have an enchanted life. Can I give you an
Yeah, it never
example?
will.
Can I give you an example of someone who's incredibly had a very rich career, but didn't seem to be lucky in love? Phil Collins. Phil Collins, if you had to guess, okay, he was married 3 times. How much money do you think
Wow.
he paid
Yeah,
out in alimony? Just I died when I found out how much. Just guess.
I can't imagine. It's got to be in the millions, of course.
Three
That's
hundred
incredible.
million. 300 million.
Oh wow.
300 million. I died. Yeah.
Yeah, it's painful.
It's well, you think you'd learn after the first,
I
right?
don't know what was happening. I
Prenups,
don't
no
know what was
prenups.
happening.
Exactly. Thank you, Hannah. You
Jay
read my
Z,
mind.
we want Breen. Something that you know is Kanye, right? Something that you need to have.
Eddie Murphy is my favorite. You know, that skit he did, you know. She had a bone in her nose. Eddie, you do not love me. I get half.
uh,
Oh my god. Yeah,
that's just
so
he's so glad. Hey, alimony with divorce. Damn, I can't imagine. No.
one of my favorite blues songs is It's Cheaper to Keep Her.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah,
It's Cheaper to Keep Her. That's the name of the song. I thought, okay. Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's kind of sad actually. But everything we need to be complete and whole, we have from the time we're little. And somehow life chips that away from us. And then we forever want
Yep.
to find that beautiful little, complete beautiful soul. And when you see that in your children, especially when they're really young, they don't know prejudice, they don't know fear. They know emotions deeply and intensely for a minute. They can have tears shooting out of their eyes, and you give them a cookie and they're like, oh. And everything else is in the rear view mirror. But when we get older, we take, this happened to me in 1979, and I'm going to hold on to this like an old record and play it over and over and over and over. And I have friends like that.
Yeah,
We should read some
that's
of these
people.
comments.
That's trauma. It's always trauma, and it always revisits. You know, it's
So what do
something
you
that
what do you
that
do? You didn't answer my question on the one thing, and maybe you don't want to, and that's
yeah.
cool too. Maybe you're just skating,
Okay,
which is good. You can skate if you want. All right. So
let's see.
okay. So I said to you in 2022, and you said basically the answer I got was you're reflective, but you didn't tell me that what direction you were going to set your sail or your plane or what your intention
Hmm.
is. because I'm a big believer. If you don't have a kind of an idea of what you want, you're just going to float amongst the seas. The current is just going to take you.
Absolutely no. I think by June of 2022, I'd like
Hmm.
to have 8 songs and not an album, but something that is produced preliminary to that.
Hmm.
That's my goal. Um, I've taken a lot of steps to ensure that, at least financially right now,
Hmm.
hoping that I could just make sure that I'm at the right place to do that. But I'm really waiting for more inspiration with whatever it is that I could write, and whatever's coming to me with the energy that I put out here, or whatever is coming back at me, or whatever I go in through in my life, whatever I dream about, whatever I read about. Hopefully, it makes some kind of an impact. But that's what I'm waiting for. Um, if that makes any sense, I'm waiting
I love
for
what Sting said.
something.
He said in an interview, he said, music is its own reward.
Mm,
So he went from, I
beautiful.
don't know if you know this, but he had a strategy with the police. And the strategy was they were going to sell
Mm,
out and basically make music they thought the masses would want. And then they could get paid because he got tired of being broke. That's what he said. He was a teacher. He got tired of being broke. So they had, like, I think it was a 5 to 7 year goal of making as much money as possible. And then once he got to the level where he was known, then he'd start making music that he loved, which was the Sting projects, which were very jazz unique.
yeah.
But he knew he had to give them what they wanted first to be able to
Hate to
get what he
say it, it's probably me. Yeah, I
me.
love his
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah. Well, Fragile is my favorite song that he ever did. I probably don't know it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Look it up. It's called Fragile. It's absolutely
Okay.
gorgeous music in it. We got Pastor Cindy here. You should read this. Read it out loud. Can you see it there?
Hey, Brian and
Mm.
Michael, just finished our service.
Yeah.
My birthday. Oh, on my way to bed, but just boy, want to say,
You want to sing to
hey,
her? We can do
blessings to you.
Happy birthday to you. Right. Happy birthday. Go ahead.
Happy birthday to you.
To you.
Happy birthday,
Day,
Pastor
dear
Sam.
Cindy. Happy
Happy
birthday
to
to
you.
you. And the last corny part. And many more. Arriba! Andele, andele. Okay, no, sorry. All right. Yeah, it's all good.
And many more. That's necessary, though, before
Is
it
it?
happens.
Well, it's like at the end of the night, you have to go, good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do, 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 do. Right? Yeah.
Salud. I'll cheers to that.
Cheers indeed. So, the only suggestion I can give you is fully feel what you're feeling. And,
Hmm.
numbing yourself is going to also stop the creativity part.
I think you hit a very important thing on the head right there. And I wonder, like a lot of the times, I I don't like being 100% myself. I don't like hurting people's feelings either.
Hmm.
By being myself.
How would you hurt people by being yourself? Explain that to me, if you can.
Sure, sure. Of course. I think if uh, if I were to think about when I was growing up, for instance, and I was
Mm-hmm.
competitive, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't hold back. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
myself, and it'd be
Right.
so if it was a band, for instance, I'd be like, dude, lay back, like your vocals suck, like let me like play like
Yeah.
that or whatever.
Yeah.
So harder to like work with a larger amount of individuals that are changing and more frequently, and
Well,
the dynamic
it's
is shifting.
yeah. But you got to know, like, you'll have times in your life where you'll have the pieces of your first development, and then you have to go to another level where there's better musicians, better singers, a whole new level. And for you to get there, you have to leave the level you're at now, which is the pod that you're in, to take a leap of faith with someone else. And when you realize that music is the only choice and the only vehicle, then you're all invested in. You're all in. But when you have your toe kind of in one pond and in another, you're not fully vested. And Metallica went through that. They went from a point where it was like, should we get, a job, or do we take a leap of faith and let's just see what we can do? And it all
Right,
unfolded.
right.
Hi, Edward. How are you? Do you know Edward?
Yes, yes. Happy to see Edward Lynn here, and
Yeah.
thank you kindly. Really do appreciate your blessings and your kind words. That's
So I think that's the transition in 2022 is you're going to have to fully feel, and it's okay to be angry sometimes and know what you want and have that edge, because it ain't easy out there. And that's from the spiritual guy.
well. I think that's gonna come in. That's gonna come in use. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate
Well,
it.
and anything worth having is worth fighting for. And a lot of times the
Yes.
person the person who stops you is you,
Yeah.
right?
A lot of the time, it's all right here.
Oh, it's between the ears.
Biggest
And
enemy.
all great performers talk about that. Oh my God, what if they
Mhm.
figure out that I'm standing on a foundation of shit and I'm really nothing?
A lot of
What
people,
if they
yeah.
figured out? Now I'm talking top actors. Going, what if they just realize all of a sudden, go, holy shit, how did he get where he is? He's a hack at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
it's all
and I think we talked about this before. I think we
right.
did, but Dave Matthews talked about how he always hired people more talented than him, because then it gave him
Yeah, yeah,
something to strive, and he wouldn't have to work
yeah.
as hard. But he did, though,
That's
because
good.
that you're not going to get better unless you have better people around you. You are an average of the 5 people you hang around most. But I don't know what your goals are.
Exactly. I'm lucky that I have some really good musicians on here too. To be honest with you, like just sing Chris Moncalmo, Chris Gales. What's his
Yeah.
name? A lot of other people on here. I can't even begin to list all of them, but every time I go up and down the musicians, I think I'm a drop in the bucket.
You
I
may
pale
want
in
you,
comparison.
oh, we got some serious conversations going on amongst people. I hope they're pleasant. Okay. When the comments go from like a small comment to a very large comment, I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Wait. Yeah. Are you
Thank
even
you.
interested in knowing what some of these people are talking about? Do you want to read some of this?
Best to shout out Michael and Brian, even just leaving the funeral home. Oh wow, serving a family. I am glad I get to serve Edward Lynn. God bless.
I like Desiree's comment. You know you
Desiree
can
saying,
show
you know,
yourself to others and show others your gift. The hardest part is loving yourself, to go fully, truthfully with yourself deep down. It's hard to love yourself. It is. But
because
there's a big difference between self-love and arrogance, right?
yeah,
And choosing the higher good. Like you've been given these skill sets and gone through these circumstances for a reason.
I think I think I don't know if there's a reason behind it, but regarding self love and arrogance, like I do think a lot of people in the industry or like anybody who's online these days is walking a fine line between that for sure. There's a lot of indulgence, and then there's introspection. And it's like, what are you doing? Do you want to know, or so I guess I just reveal myself to others here. I bare myself as much as I possibly can because there's no reason for me not to, and I have nothing to lose. I never have. And I think more people could do that and they could feel more empowered from it because, hey, you know what? It's all right. It's all right to be yourself. Uh,
It also gives
yeah.
people a launching pad to be more themselves, because if you lead by example, you may inspire someone to take that first step into recording a demo or writing again. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe I do have the resilience to try to be in a relationship again. Or maybe I can try to go for my dreams.
It's very
Maybe I.
meaningful. Right now, thank you for saying some of those things, especially with your
Have
insight.
you enjoyed the conversation
That's
tonight?
hell
Has
yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? You gotta ask me
Okay,
that.
no, I don't know. I'm not certain. So sometimes I go too far.
Love
So I just
her.
okay. So I'm going to read
Great
something
combo.
to you
Great combo.
here. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. That was Albert Einstein who wrote that.
Mm,
Learn from yesterday,
mm.
live for today, hope for tomorrow. Yeah. I love the rocking chair test. You ever heard that theory where you're in your rocking chair, you're 7 years old, and you'd be far happier with yourself knowing you failed 1,000 times, but at least you had the balls to try, than playing it safe
Mm.
and then going, I pissed my youth away. What the fuck was I thinking? I had it all. And I numbed myself with drugs and alcohol, or I took the safe route, and I basically sold my life for nothing. A few trinkets. See, if you do this right, you can, and I know this is going to sound fucking bizarre, but it's true. You can say what you want about Elvis, but Elvis made a lot of movies and he made a lot of
Okay.
great music, and he now lives forever. So if I want to see the essence of Elvis, I can go watch one of his movies, I can watch one of his videos, but his body of work is huge. My grandfather, there's no record of him. There's no cheesy movie I can watch. There's none of that. So as time goes on, I only have the fragments of my memory, what I can still remember, that spark. But if you have, like say someone like Jimi Hendrix, who lived really hard and fast, he lives forever, you know, or Jim
Yeah.
Morrison, right? And some stars just
Yeah.
shine brighter and just don't shine as long. But then you have guys like crazy asses like Mick Jagger, who I'm like, Jesus, man, like,
They're mortal. God knows
right,
what the hell.
right, like it's crazy, and he's got a 30-year-old girlfriend and a kid on the way, and
Right.
he's, and he barely made. He's got some
Comic.
pig valve in his heart keeping him going, right? And then you've got someone who should have died 19 times, Keith Richards, and he's still here.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
So just what I'm saying is just look at it as a game and have fun. And who gives a shit if you fail,
Yeah.
right? I think that's why video
That,
games are so popular, because you can play a video game, you can suck at it, and you can suck at it for like 6 months, and then you slowly get mastery. Nobody knows about it, but you keep trying because there's no shame every time you fail. There's just frustration.
yeah. I think that's why I want to get up every day and do it again. That's why I care about things like HAPS or playing a gig or going to the boardwalk and playing for people and busking.
Yeah.
It feels like a
But
game to me. It
but
feels
but
like
but music is a
trying.
suck fest. You know that, right? Doing what you do,
Yeah.
that's a suck fest. It sucks. It is a
But not for
giant
me.
suck.
Hey,
No, but it can be. Imagine,
it
okay, just for a second, we'll be Bon Jovi. You and I are in
hasn't
Bon
been
Jovi. Let's
too often.
pretend. Okay, we're in Bon Jovi. We just did Slippery When Wet. We've done now 300 gigs in a row. We've had more sex, drugs, rock and roll, women. Our parts are raw. We've done every sensation. We've bought everything we can possibly buy. And we're like,
I
I don't
love
even
this.
know what fucking day it is. But I'm singing Keep the Faith. And that's what they lived. And they made insane money. But was their soul satisfied? And they talked no. And the band broke up because it got to a point where they became a slave to the rhythm. I don't think you'll ever
Did.
do that. Like when it becomes just a business, like you can say whatever the hell you want about Kiss, but holy fuck, are they good marketers? Right? Great marketers,
They do.
right?
Still present. So that says it all.
But unless you have, and you have to have balls, and the truth is, if you look at really incredibly successful entrepreneurs, especially in music, they tend to have ginormous fucking egos.
Yep.
Ginormous like Metallica was out of
Yeah.
control. Metallica was completely out of control in the 80s. They even talk about it now. They laugh.
Yeah. I
That
just
Black
don't
Album,
wanna.
what was pure gold, and they made fun of the guy who helped them make it the whole time. Rockin' High, Bob. So Rockin' High was Bob Rock was in a group called Rockin' High, and they did kind of folk light rock. And while he was sleeping one time, they were playing and going, "This is the guy we got, man," because he's a really heavy dude. And they're playing and they're mimicking him, going. But later on in life, they were all saying we would have never made Nothing Else Matters without him, because we did not have the security within ourselves to show our sensitive side. He helped us bring that out.
Wow.
So we all play roles. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
On here, by the way. Steven
What's that?
Pena. Steven Pena. Shout
We're
out
still
to Steven
chatting,
Pena,
yes.
man.
Yeah. Love like that stupid opinion, man.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. He may have a point. We're at 2 hours and 2 hours and 37 minutes. See, time flies when you're having fun, and 625 views. So thank you.
Wow. Yeah. All these broadcasts. Appreciate you bringing me.
I appreciate you
Down
being
to
here
earth.
and sharing You know, little nuggets of your soul there. You know, what'd you call it? The essence. I think you
Thank you.
called it the essence, right?
I hope that we could meet in this ether and gather more of the essence as we continue to talk and
Well,
deliberate.
I think it'd be super
As
powerful. We could ever meet in person,
yeah,
and
that
then
would be awesome.
and then you wouldn't
That'd
have to worry about the screen and who's looking or judging. You could just fully be. You know what I mean? You could
yeah,
deeply dive into the vortex called consciousness together. It'd be fun. Not the same way that Captain Rehab does. You know, full frontal nudity
Des
on
is
Habs.
I
There you go.
tiger.
Yeah, the
Must be
full
your good side,
experience.
Mike.
You know, what's that?
Oh, Stephen Pena's telling it's your frosted side right here. He's calling you out. He's saying it's your good side.
But we all have that. We both have light and dark. Every single human being has
Yeah.
that. You know, if you don't have that, you don't have balance. It's like if we lived a joyous experience 24/7, we wouldn't know it was joyous,
It's true.
right? It's all about the contrast. You have to have that. And I think with you, you're just an overthinker.
That's a start. That's a start.
That's the start. Yeah. Do you want to end it here, or do you want to? Is there
Uh,
anything else you want to discuss before we go? Because I can talk for a little longer. It's up to you.
I'll say that if you're going to open another chapter on the next time, not only am I an overthinker, but I am oddly um, reactionary and heuristic when it comes to my
Do you have a
lifestyle.
temper?
So,
Do you have a temper when you get angry? Do you go off the?
I mean,
Do you go off the
has tried
rails?
to mug, for instance, when someone in New York mugged me,
Mm-hmm.
instead of getting mugged,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, you took
argued
care of it.
why
You took care of it. Yeah, you flipped the
and
script. Yeah.
yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you remember Crocodile Dundee? Did you ever watch that movie? And the guy's in the alley, and he pulls out this little
Yeah.
knife, and he goes, "That's not a knife." And he pulls out like this machete. No fear. It's like, that's not a knife. Wait. That's a knife.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of
that's
what you
great.
did.
That's great.
You know, I love this saying, if you can keep your head while the rest of the world loses theirs, that's true success. That's true success, right? That's the clarity. But don't forget too, whatever you're feeling, it's just a feeling. That's all it is. You know?
I've never had
Just
a
like
head or feelings.
you don't have feelings? Is that what you're saying? Are you a robot? Is that what
No, never had a head or a head for those feelings. So,
okay.
I mean, I'm definitely a very emotional person. I'm a spiritual person.
Hmm.
I'm reflective. I understand. I meditate. I I journal. I have a gratitude journal. I do a lot of things, and I practice things to show that I can, uh, grow.
Hmm.
But yeah, beyond that, some days are frustrating too. You know.
Some days I swear you're going up a hill and the hill is icy and you have slippery shoes on and the goal you want is on top of the hill. Yeah, I've had days like that where it doesn't matter how hard, and I've realized now when I have days like that, I just do something else. I'm going, the universe clearly does not want me to do that today. This is not the right alignment. So instead of me saying to the universe, I know what's best, I'll surrender and go, okay. And that's where I've learned to be more patient. and let things unfold,
I
right? You know, I think it's like that
that's
old
right
wise
on.
tale. Don't ever put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But when we start to think we know everything and we know what's best, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. It's very, very much overzealous.
Yeah.
I would,
So
I want to
where
be.
you are right now, and if you can, between 1 and 10 at this chapter in your life, where would you say your soul is between 1 and 10?
If one was the devil and 10 was God,
I
I
feel like I
mean,
just got
like
a movie script here, right there for a second. You know? Okay. That was a very Jack Nicholas, like, okay, go ahead. I don't just make movies, I make classics. Okay, go ahead.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so
And
between
Des
1
is
and 10.
saying to behind the horse while they're shitting.
That's right. Yes, yes, you might have
I
a
think,
fragrant mess. Go ahead. On your shoe.
yeah.
So
What was
between
I
1 and
saying?
10. So I would say for me where my soul is since the pandemic has probably been a 6 and some days a 7. There's been more having to
Like
fight.
where the is to God, like mine
Um
and is God,
just
like
being
God.
it's not God, just being in a place of being more servitude of knowing like where I'm aligned. Like I've had weeks where I swear to God I felt I was in a poo patty and I was in a 3 and I no matter what I did I was stuck. And I had that about 2 months ago. I got to a place where I was so stuck, and a lot of it was I did it to myself. I was
Uh,
basically fighting myself, but didn't realize it until I had found some clarity.
I could that still. I understand why people would be in all different places, but like you know, somewhere where you, as long as you can be where you want to be in the future, I suppose that's what's important.
Well, we hope, both of us hope, especially for your beautiful children, that there is a better future ahead. Because what I've seen so far, it looks like a very tough time. And in the history of life, this is just a chapter, right? It's not a great chapter. It's not like the Black Plague, like it was, in the late 1800s. But if you study, and I think you have, if you studied civilization, there's been a lot of shit that's gone on in this experience called being a human.
But I don't mind bringing him up with a little anxiety and being like, "Yo, like, do this all the time, like, wash your hands and do this shit, like, do better than the people around you, be competitive." I tell my sons that honestly,
Good, good. And have a fire
and
in
I
your
think
belly,
that
right? Have a
Squid
fire in
Game,
your belly. Yeah.
like, yeah, fire in your fucking belly. That's what
Yeah.
actually what I tell them too, because like
Hmm.
in a show we watch, and they say their dad has a fire in their belly because I'm a go getter in my job too. I've
Yeah.
never been fired. I've always been
Yeah.
promoted, and I always do what I care to do because I fucking give a shit and I try my hardest. And I want them to try their hardest their whole lives.
Yeah.
If they want it, they got to go for it and they got to get it. And Des is saying, shit. Oh my god, no, Des, come on, what are you wishing on me?
Yeah.
But really,
Only if you went to
um,
Taco Bell the night before, you might have the Ring of Fire with Johnny Cash. The ring. The ring of fire.
Burn,
Burns,
burn.
burns is the ring of fire. The ring of fire. Yeah. You know what I love by him? Get
Mm.
rhythm. Get rhythm when you get the blues. I love that tune. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I.
You should
I'll
look
have
it
to
up.
listen
Get
to it.
Rhythm by Johnny Cash. It might be the most uplifting song he's ever done.
Retta, thank you. So good to see you.
Retta, how are you doing, buddy? Two great, okay, duos. I almost said dudes. I had to stop myself. Dudes. All right, I'm
Cool.
going to end this because I think we've hit the threshold here. But we will in the future get together and figure some stuff out. That'll be good. But you know what? Keep the faith, my friend. Keep the faith.
For
Let's
sure.
wave.
Thank you so much.
Let's wave together. And we had some serious conversations here. The comments got along. I hope people got along. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you to all the guests, and thank you to the HAPS community. We do really fully appreciate you. Yes.